Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for the segment, we have Abbie Morris, CEO of Compare Ethics, which is a sustainability communication platform that enables brands to verify, manage, and deliver their sustainable product communications at scale. Abbie joins me to discuss how businesses can reshape their strategies and the relationship between net zero and growing revenue. Abbie, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you so much for having me, Jill. Looking forward to it.
All right, you got it. And COP26 was intended to be a watershed moment for climate change. So why 3 months on are net zero targets already backsliding on a global level?
Yeah, it's really clear that the climate change conference was meant to be this watershed moment, but this isn't the first time that we've passed on these opportunities. It's really key that whilst there's this short-term reliance on oil consumption, that businesses really focus on the next big adventure and big risk around climate change. From the US to China to India, fossil fuels are coming back, and we need to make sure that we remain focused so that we don't keep having to react and make sure that we're proactive on having the right systems in order in which to operate.
And that leads me to my next question. When we talk about businesses greenwashing, what do we mean?
This is essentially when a business or entity is misleading their stakeholders on how far they're really going on this climate and net zero agenda. This can be accidental, it can be human error, it can be a little bit more insidious than this. So we really need to make sure that businesses have the right tools in order for them to not mislead their stakeholders.
And do you think technology can help when we think about accuracy and transparency?
Oh, yes. I mean, this is exactly why I created Compare Ethics. So we help businesses verify, manage, and scale their accurate communications. We use supply chain data such as certifications, life cycle assessments, and we use our AI tool to make sure that they're not misleading their stakeholders from consumers right across to investors.
What are the benefits for businesses that actually do execute on their ESG and net zero proposals and marketing?
This is a huge greenfield opportunity. We're seeing huge productivity gains from businesses who are actually leaning into this type of technology. Instead of scaling headcount and actually misleading, they get compliance, an increase in capacity. And what we're seeing is by accurate communication with consumers for retail businesses, we're uplifting sales by as high as 90%. So it just goes to show there's a real opportunity to get this conversation right.
What's the price of inaction?
Can we afford to, with everything that we're seeing at the moment? You know, it's one shock after the other. And I think, ultimately, if we don't get this conversation right, we're completely on the wrong side of history. These risks are not removing themselves anytime soon. We need to get on the front foot to make sure that our businesses can operate appropriately.
All right, Abbie, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks for having me.